Emery with a lot of power behind her. Sloop over to Manchango. To Sherman. Sloop. Manchango over to Emery. Emery taking it away. You know, being a freshman, she has a lot of power behind her spikes, and it's kind of scary. I want to be in front of that.
Definitely not. I wouldn't want to be in front of that.
Sherman. Bounds. The Cyclones are getting a lot of missed hits on that receive off the serve, and it's kind of costing them here. Here's Carver.
And that was the first serve that we've seen throughout the game of her serving, and she did pretty damn good, that's for sure.
And penalty on the Cyclones, and Wildcats will be getting that point. And the Cyclones will be calling a timeout. So the Wildcats, after that timeout they came back and tied up with the Cyclones. Cyclones only getting, I believe, 1 or 2 points from that. And the Wildcats actually coming back. Do you think the Cyclones kind of got a little too cocky and kind of realized that, oh, hey, we need to call a timeout, we need to relax, we need to talk this through, we need to do all this, we need to figure what's going on and why we're losing?
I don't think that they got cocky. I just think that last game, I'm going to go back to last game, they got points constantly, and they kept getting more and more and more points. And I think that they were expecting that they were as good as what they thought, and that this team wasn't as powerful as what they are. And I think that they just have to keep themselves in check, because, I mean, through to high school, they're really powerful. Their girls are all good. And I think they need to keep themselves in check, as in every team is different, and they can't always play as good as that.
Otterby will be checking in for Emery. Emery actually getting a lot of time today. Otterby with the serve, and Hannenberg. Great spike, and it came close up to the net, and she reacted and got the point for her team. Great job by her.
I love watching these girls' faces of when they go to get a point. Emily Hannenberg, she tipped it over, and the girl went to go get it, and she just kind of looked at it, was like, okay, what's the deal? And then she just kind of turned back to her team like, okay, I got that point. I don't think she was quite expecting that.
I don't think she was either, but Cyclones actually getting 2 points and actually regaining their lead a little bit. And the Wildcats actually having to call a timeout there. So you actually got to talk to the coaches a lot before the game, which we'll talk about those here before too long. Do you see a lot more tenacity between the two coaches?
I think Coach King talks individually to the kids, and I think that the Wildcats coach definitely talks to the team as a whole and what they can improve on. And I don't think I think he gives advice to the whole team, and I think Coach King just gives it individually.
Menegatti with the killer spikes right there. Thompson returning the favor, gets a killer spike. Over to Snyder. Snyder has to hit it over. Setting up with Manchango. Hannenberg. And that will sail out of bounds, and the point will go to Cyclones because the Wildcats actually tried to block it and hit off their hands, and it sailed out of bounds. That's the reason they got that point there. If you were confused. But here's Otterby with the serve again.
Otterby has been serving a lot throughout this game, and I think it's great that she can keep her momentum throughout the whole game.
Well, what I've been noticing throughout the game is they kind of have a system whether or not who's going to be checking in and when and where. And I think they check in Otterby just to
right
serve,
before the serve.
Right before she can serve, and then she serves, and then after one more rotation after that, she'll go check it out for either Sherman or Schreiber or Emery. It just depends on who the coach puts in, but yeah, I've been noticing that he has like kind of a rotation system, and he kind of makes sure that everybody gets some playtime. And here's Happy. Over to Sloop. Manchango. Sloop has to hit it over. Wells. Set up by Happy. Over to Snyder. Number 6. Manchango. Happy. To Thompson. To Menegatti. To Manchango. To Menegatti. Number 6. trying to save for her team. She had a couple of great digs on that, trying to save the ball for her team. Very impressive. But here's Happy once more. Happy. It's Manchango. Manchango doesn't quite get it. And the Cyclones will be getting a timeout here. Okay, so let's hear a couple more questions that you got from the coaches and what their responses were.
I kind of went over everything for the game. One thing I asked about the coach, I asked Coach King about, you see, there's kids who don't make practice, or like especially in football, where if they don't make practice, they don't have time. I know the coach has them sit out that next game, so I asked Coach King of what his input on that was, and I asked him, I said, what are your policies on a player not making practice? Does this include those that don't make it because they have catching up on school? And he said it goes case by case. In all the years that he's been coaching, only one has been an excused absence of practice, and he says if you don't make practice, you just got to explain to him. He'll understand. There's always life that goes on, and he kind of he expects it case by case. So it's not, he doesn't have him sit out the next game, just he has to, he understands very good about why not making practice.
But I would just like to comment on Menegatti. I've been sitting here watching her while you've been explaining to what the coach is saying, and she's just been absolutely killing it right there with her spikes. And Cyclones will be actually winning that set. But to continue talking about Menegatti, she is absolutely just has so much aggression behind her, and it's ridiculous on the amount of aggression she has. Yeah,
she's on fire, and she's a very powerful girl, and she loves volleyball. See it in her, just loves it.
Absolutely amazing. And while you were talking, Cyclones actually gained their last 2 points and won that set for the Cyclones. And so you still have a couple of questions. Go ahead and ask them.
I really don't have I have one question, and kind of like all throughout the summer, they went out and they hiked Bighorn Mountain, and they did a few things throughout the summer for the team and just to get the team together. The girls on the team hang out a lot outside of practice and games. I believe that this makes the team stronger. What do you think about that?
Well, obviously it's going to make them stronger because their chemistry will grow, and they'll fight and they'll get over it, and then it'll just kind of increase the bond between the entire team, and it'll make sure that they show that on the court, and they'll get that out there on the court, and they'll be like, hey, you know what, we've been hanging out a lot, I'll make sure to set you up. Well, and they've always been kind of just doing that, and you see Manchango down there at the front center, and she's always constantly setting up her team. She's never trying to get spikes or points for herself. She's always just setting up everybody, and it's just awesome to see that. And you always see her trying to see if she can set up to Menegatti, because both her and Menegatti are really close friends. You constantly see them together. You constantly see them posting pictures of them too on Instagram or Facebook or whatever it may be. They're always together, and they're always just the greatest of friends.
She's definitely a team player, and I think last year at the beginning of the year she actually had a heart attack, so she wasn't able to play a lot throughout the season. She came in at the end, but I think that she's definitely that makes up for this year. I think that makes up for what last year's play was.
And ought to be a number 6 actually colliding for the dig, and both really wanted it, and Wildcats will actually be coming up at that point. But here's Happy, and I'm so sorry if we were butchering your name. If you want to come up and slap me after you hear this, I will more than let you, as I've said it like 10 times, and I'm pretty sure I've butchered it almost every single time. So, yes, but Wildcats with the point ahead, and here's Happy once more. Happy getting the serve out of bounds. And here's Manchango back to serve. And number 9, will be checking in for Sloop.
Now, we had a lot of her play throughout the game, but last game, she was pretty, I don't want to say powerful, but she knows what to do and how to. Definitely, she's very good. She's a very good player.
And Medeiros actually coming in and getting a block. Very impressive, and it was good switch out right there for the coach to do. And here's Manchenko with the serve once more. Snyder to Haffey to Thompson. Ought to be saving that. Manchenko to number 6. See if there's Haffey. There's number 8 Atkins. Haven't seen much of her.
Do you feel there's more excitement and more power in this set?
Well, it's coming down between the score is 1-1. Both team wants to get that edge right there at the end. It could depend, and there's going to be a lot more energy in this third set. There always is, and there always has been, and it's just going to be pretty intense. And here's Thompson. Menegatti to Manchenko to Hannenberg. Hannenberg sailing that out of bounds. We'll give Wildcats a point. And Sloop will be checking back in for Medeiros. Thompson, Menegatti to Manchenko. And that will be Wildcats point penalty, I believe, on Manchenko. Here's Thompson.
Well, right now, actually, you see a little discussion in between the two refs right now. I wonder what their call's going to be.
Here's Thompson. To Menegatti. To Manchenko. Back to Menegatti. Menegatti trying to get the spike. Here's Ottoby. Menegatti. Menegatti hitting that out of bounds. It's hitting it a little too hard. And now will be a timeout on the Cyclones. So, do you see a change in the tempo of, I wouldn't say like aggression or anything, not trying to bash either team, but I've seen Wildcats being a lot more aggressive in this, and they're trying to attack more and they're trying to get the points more. And do you think maybe Cyclones have kind of died down and kind of lost all momentum?
I don't feel you're bashing the teams either way, but I definitely feel Cyclones, they're not as excited as they are, and I think Wildcats just come in feeling overpowerful and just trying to show it how excited they are. And I think Cyclones are just kind of getting burnout of how excited that they get, and Cyclones are trying their hardest, and it's all about sportsmanship. And I understand Cyclones they're trying to do the best that they can, but I think Wildcats are getting more excited than what they should be.
Sherman checking in for Hannenberg there. They had a missed serve by Ottoby. Here's Wells. We've seen Wells and Thompson a lot at the line, and Happy as well. We've seen them constantly over there to serve. Here's Sloop with the spike. Happy to Carver. And Ottoby with the dive, and Menegatti. Over to Mueller. Manchenko to Sloop to Sherman. Haffey to Snyder. Menegatti. Over to Sloop. Haffey to Mueller. To number 6. To Manchenko. To Sloop. And Cyclones hitting that out of bounds. And number 7 checking in for Mueller. Wells to Menegatti to Manchenko, back over to Menegatti. Ottoby to Sloop. And Wildcats absolutely just killing it in this set. And here's Wells. Manchenko over to Sloop. Sloop doesn't quite get it. Shriver, Manchenko, over to Menegatti. Haffey to Snyder. Manchenko to Sloop. To Sherman. Haffey to Carver. Sloop. Manchenko. Menegatti. Here's Manchenko. Back to Sloop. And Wildcats, after all that, will come up with the point. Wells with the miss serve.
Right now, we're behind by a few points. By 10 points, the scoreboard is 4-11. The Wildcats in the lead. Do you think that Cyclones have enough time to come back and win this match?
It's not the matter of time. It's a matter of if they can do it, and the matter of whether or not they're capable of doing it. The Wildcats have a tough team, and I think the Cyclones are realizing that they've actually really got to play really hard to actually try and get the points. And there we go. Cyclones will be getting... Wildcats will be the point on that. That looks more out of bounds than inside the box to me.
Was it just me, or did you kind of feel like that ref kind of was standing there to kind of block that ball to make it sure it wasn't going to go out? He kind of smacked down his flag.
Well, we can't really call any conspiracies between the refs. It kind of just depends, and the Cyclones will actually be getting the point on that. But I don't know. I did see something fishy. I'm not going to really say too much else on that ref. It's very unprofessional of me. But here's Sloop. Sloop with the great play, right in the open space of all of the defenders of the Wildcats.
I couldn't agree with you more, Nolan.
Here's Sloop. Haffey. And Cyclones is getting the point. And here's Sloop. Sloop to Wells. Haffey to Carver. Cyclones trying to get a block in. Doesn't quite get it. Thompson will be checking in, as well as Mueller. Mueller. Menegatti with a great dig. Team wasn't there to receive.
As Coach King tries to get behind the little escalator to get that ball.
Mueller.
Now, we've seen a lot. Do you think that just with, like, how powerful that the serves are, do you think that one coach to have a better server over others? Like, just, do you think that he purposely puts the same service in? Or do you think that they rotate throughout the whole game?
I couldn't really tell you. They've had a lot of rotations. They've had a lot of servers go up. They've had a lot of servers, like, switch out just to serve and then switch back out. But I don't know. It just depends on whether or not how the situation is going. And this is a pretty aggressive play. Sloop over to Sherman. Wells receiving. Haffey over to Carver. Sloop with a great dig. Over to Menegatti. Wells. Carver. To Haffey. Haffey. And that will be an inbounds. Just barely. We've seen a lot of aggressive plays here in this set. And number 14 of the Cyclones She's not on our roster, but I believe she is actually a sophomore here at Pueblo West High School.
And I believe her name is Ashton. I believe her name is Ashton. I can't quite remember her last name.
And Cyclones coming up with the point with that one. And Hannenberg will be checking in. And Lou will be checking in. Her Ashton, even though she just got in. Sherman. Happy over to Carver. Sloop with a great dig. And Wildcats will be coming up with a point for that one.
And here comes that alternate for Taylor Hogan. She's been playing a lot this game. Taylor Hogan is definitely, too bad she couldn't be here. I think that we could be up a little bit more points with her. Not saying that her alternate is not a bad player, because she's really a great player. But I think that they could be up a few more points if Taylor Hogan was here. She's a great player, and she takes volleyball very serious. I see more of her playing volleyball than I see her hanging out with a lot of friends.
Shriver will actually be checking out, and Ottoby will be checking in just to serve. And here's Manchengo to Menegatti. Menegatti with the killer spike. And Hannenberg came in at some point. I didn't see her check in. Here's Ottoby. Happy. So over to number 8, Wells. To Snyder. That will be a point for the Cyclones.
Block, Menegatti, and Hannenberg.
And here comes Mariah Ottoby. She is well over 7 serves for this game. Coach King definitely knows his players and what well, and he keeps putting her out there. She's really good.
Here's Ottoby. And Cyclones actually making a comeback. There once more. So just a little bit ago, it was 16-8. Wildcats are up, and now it's 16-13. Cyclones actually getting a 5-0 run there on the Wildcats.
Really want to thank our sponsors for supporters. Excuse me. I want to thank our supporters for the volleyball and the Pueblo West Cyclones individually. The DNL garage doors, the Cat Sport House, and Pueblo Electric. This right now, what we do would not be able to do.
I think the word you were looking for is possible.
Yes, that was the word. Thank you, Nolan.
Here's Ottoby. Ottoby over to Snyder, to Haffey, to Thompson. Cyclones with a great defense. Manchego and Hannenberg going up. There's Ottoby. And Ottoby hitting that a little bit too hard and then sails out of bounds. But that was kind of an iffy call. It was really close to the line, so I guess you kind of had to get a close look at whether or not it was in or not. But here's Haffey. Number 6 to Manchengo. To Menegatti. And the Cyclones will begin the point.
I think now that we're coming into this third set, I think Cyclones, you asked earlier, I kind of said that they were getting burned out. But now I think that since their points are getting up and that they think that they have hope and that they feel like they can win this, I feel that they're getting more excited about each point that they win.
Sloop doesn't quite get it. Here's Thompson with her unique serve that we've seen so many times. Number 6, Manchengo. Over to Menegatti. Menegatti with the killer spike once more. And here is Menegatti.
Now here comes
Sherman checking in. And Emery will be checking in for Audrey.
Now I feel for her being a freshman, I think one of her definite advantages is of her being so tall. You definitely want a tall volleyball player because it's easier, especially since she's in the back. You don't want a really it's hard to get to those balls quicker.
Snyder, just throwing this out there, what an amazing spike. Had so much power behind that. So great. And Mueller will be actually checking out. Here's Wells for the serve. Wells to Menegatti, to Manchango, to Sloop. Wells to Haffey, to Snyder. Snyder with just a killer arm behind her.
I definitely have to give props to the Wildcats coach. With his mindset of actually playing the small games during practices, I think that it definitely shows of how well that they actually can play in a game because they have that capability of playing in a game.
Number 6 with a great dig flies over the net, and I believe Snyder couldn't counter and get it over the net. And Emery, sorry, nothing, no one changed. Here's Manchango with a great dig. Menegatti, Happy, Snyder. That looks more out of bounds than an inbounds from the way I was looking.
Some of these plays, it's hard to say. Especially the points. Sorry, not the plays, the points. And how they're determined. It's tough to say sometimes.
It is tough to say. Here's Snyder. Menegatti. It's Manchango. Over to Emery. Snyder. It's number 7. Cyclones point.
She's also got to serve.
Sloop to serve. Wells to Snyder. To number 7. Emery. Haffey. Number 7. And that will be a penalty on the Cyclones. The Wildcats points. There's Mueller and Thompson checking back in.
She's also back to serve.
Mueller back to serve. Menegatti. It's Manchango to Emery. Emery couldn't quite convert. And that'll be timeout on the Cyclones. So, aggressive play by both the Wildcats and the Cyclones. Do you think maybe by any chance either team could get an edge on the other? I mean, Cyclones are down by 5 right now. Wildcats only need 2 more points to win. Do you think maybe they can change?
It's Friday morning, no school, let's cheer. Come on, let's go.
I feel that they're both really aggressive and they think that they're the best of the best, and they kind of try to put that out there. Cyclones definitely, they feel Coach King has set them up to be winners and to win, and I think that somebody else coming in feeling like they're better than, I don't want to say better than them, but feel like they've got more power. I think it kind of puts both of the teams back to see who really is, and this game will definitely prove who's got the power in the place.
Schreiber actually checking in for Emery. Mueller with the serve. Sherman to Wells. Over to Thompson. Menegatti with the receive. There's Manchango to Sherman. Sherman with the takeaway. And Hannenberg will actually be checking in. They've got a lot of tall girls out there. Maybe they can, I think they're going to try and set up to get a lot more spikes in and see if they can't get a lot more attacks. Sherman, Mueller, over to Happy, over to Carver. Great block by Hannenberg and Manchango. Sherman. Cyclones down by 4. Match point. Sherman to Haffey to Thompson. And the Wildcats actually taking that set. And the Cyclones switching sides. Cyclones and Wildcats. So now, since we got 3 minutes before the next set, Wildcats up 2-1 with sets. Do you think there's a chance that this could go into fifth set?
It all depends on this next set and how well they play.
That it does. I think that Cyclones actually prefer the right side a lot more and actually are a lot better on the right side. I don't get why.
To start the fourth set, Pueblo will have to serve number 1, Trudy Haffey.
Here's Haffey.
It's the match 2-1.
Haffey. Over to number 6, over to Manchango. Over to Menegatti. Haffey. To Thompson. Sloop couldn't quite get it.
Off the block, kill, number 9, Dana Thompson. Maybe back to serve.
Haffey. And that will be out. Here's Manchango.
Manchango with serve.
Mueller. Over to number 8. Manchango to Sloop. To Menegatti. Wells with the save. Haffey to Snyder. Manchango with the dive. To Ottoby. To Haffey. To Thompson. And Cyclones coming up with the point on that one. Here's Manchango. Manchango to Snyder, to Haffey, and a great block by Hannenberg. Manchango to Snyder, to Haffey, to Snyder.
Kill number 11, Daddy Snyder.
Here's Thompson. Thompson. Menegatti. Manchango. To Menegatti, and that will be out. Thompson will be checking out.
Morgan Lane into the set for Judah.
That'll be Lane checking in. Number 6 of the Cyclones. Hafey to Snyder.
Deep kill number 11. That was Snyder. Number 3, Mackenzie Wells, serving for the Wildcats.
Here's Wells. Menegatti. Manchango. To Schloop. To Wells. Over to Ottoby. Over to Manchango. Over to Schloop. And Manchango putting up her hands instead of hitting it up. Here's Wells. Wells to number 6. To Manchango to Menegatti. Great shot. Great dig by Lang. And that will be out. Shriver will have to be checking in for Ottoby.
That was a close one. Kenji Shriver, you could see her on. Don't hit it for Mariah Ottoby, because if she would have hit that, that would have been automatic points for the Wildcats, because they hit it out, but Cyclones would have hit it after it's out, so causing them to have the point, right, Nolan?
If they were to hit it out of bounds, they still had a chance to actually hit it over. There wasn't any of her teammates around, so that's why they took it out. Other than that, it was smart to actually not hit it. Yes, they got the point. There's Wells. There's Manchango over to Shriver. Shriver with the first spike. Sherman with the point on that one. Menegatti with the serve. That'll be Wildcats point. Snyder. Snyder. To Sloop. To Manchango. To Sherman. Menegatti back there. Number 6. Here's Sherman. Wells. Over to number 7. Manchango. Manchango to Sloop. Wells over to Snyder. Number 6 is there. Manchango. Number 7 is Shriver. Number 6 trying to get the dig. Here's Snyder for the Wildcats. Menegatti. And great play by Carver to hit it and get that point for her team.
Now, throughout the game, I've noticed that at the beginning they were kind of hesitant. They kind of gave them all to get the points. But I think now that they're finally figuring it out, and I think Cyclones have figured out how the Wildcats are playing, I think that's why they're right now up just a point. But I think it's just enough to keep it.
Snyder over to Hafey. Snyder trying to get the dig, doesn't quite get it. And here's Sloop for the serve.
Back to serve for the Cyclones, number 3, Jacob Sloop.
Sloop to Hafey. Over to Menegatti. Over to Manchango. Menegatti to Wells. To Hafey. To number 7. Menegatti to Sherman. To Shriver. Wells with the dig. Hafey. And that'll be out of bounds. And the Wildcats trying to convince the referee that either Shriver or Sherman touched it before it went out of bounds. Wells, Carver.
To the floor, Sherman.
Here's Sloop. Sloop. Over to Hayfie. Manchenko. Shriver. That'll be out. Thompson and Mueller will be checking in.
Number 9, number 4, Dana Thompson, and number Mueller went back into the set for the Wildcats.
Mueller at the serve.
One thing I've noticed about Mueller, she starts back very far to just get that running head start to serve. There's another unique serving technique that we really don't see a lot.
And Cyclones point. Hannenberg will be checking in for number 6. They have their tall set out there, consisting of Sherman, Menegatti, Sloop, Shriver, Hannenberg, and Manchenko. Here's Thompson. Great block by Manchenko and Hannenberg. Snyder over to Menegatti. Hannenberg to kill it and take it away. Here's Sherman. Sherman to Wells. Over to Thompson. Manchenko to Shriver. Hayfie to Thompson. Sherman to Manchenko. Hayfie to Wells. Over to Thompson. Menegatti to Manchenko. To Hannenberg. Wells to Thompson.
Now in that last play, you really saw a lot of 1, 11, and then 9 passing it back and forth to each other just to try and get it back over to that net. You don't really see a lot of the same players in that same play trying to get that ball over and trying to get that point.
Carver with the serve. Manchenko over to Shriver. Number 6. Hannenberg. Hayfie to Thompson.
No shot. Dana Thompson.
Thompson with the point on that.
Moving on to the lead, number 2, the total power for the Wildcats. That's the serve.
And the Cyclone student section
Carver.
doing their usual chanting to
Cyclones with the point on that.
encourage players.
Ottaby will be checking in for Emery. Here's Hayfie. Hayfie. To Manchenko. To Menegatti. And Mueller with the receive, but it sails out of bounds. And Manchenko back to serve. And that'll be out of bounds.
Number 9, Dana Thompson, serving for the Wildcats.
Thompson. Menegatti. Manchenko. No, this is for. We need one more after this. The Cyclones won't play one more after this. Yeah. fifth set.
Typical by Snyder. Number 7, Kiana Delano. And for the Wildcats,
Here's Thompson.
Thompson.
Medigatti. To Manchengo to Hannibal.
Timeout Cyclones.
And Cyclones will be calling a timeout here. So, I still see on your paper over here that you've got a couple more questions that you asked the coaches.
Yes, I actually do. I've been kind of scribbling out each one and then kind of going throughout the game and not scribbling them out. So, yes, with the Fruta High School, I asked him, I said, what are your coaching goals? And he said, basically, it's just to help the kids and the high school and the sports. He loves the high school sports, and he loves helping out his community, like I said earlier. And I think just talking to him, he seems like a very passionate coach, and that he actually puts a lot of time into his coaching. And I think that a lot of coaches could look up to him because, I mean, his team, they're phenomenal at playing, and I think that they're really good. And I think his coaching skills are definitely really good at I think he's good at what he does for coaching.
And Snyder with the kill. And that will be out of bounds on the Cyclones. Wildcats actually coming back and tying up the game. Here's Thompson, and that'll be out of bounds. Number 6. Off the roof. Didn't know where that one was going.
Mariah definitely took a slid for that one, just trying to keep that ball into play.
Medigatti. Just loop. Number 6. Half feet to Carver. Medigatti. Wells. To Snyder. Sloop. Over to Manchego. Snyder. Great block by Helena Medigatti and Olivia Sherman.
And as you can see in that last, while the team was congratulating each other, one thing I have noticed is that Coach King, like after each play or if something has gone wrong in that set, he individually points out to that player, do this or do that, and I think it kind of helps out the players. Like for instance, just right now, after that point was taken, he looked to Manchengo and kind of gave him gave her a advice on how to swing out her hip when she went to go do that point.
On that last play, the Cyclones were absolutely just trying to kill the Wildcats with the many spikes. But surprisingly, Wildcats had a bunch of digs on that. And here's Medigatti. Wells over to Snyder. It's number 7. That'll be out of bounds. And number 7 of the Fruta. That'll be timeout on the Wildcats.
Now, as they take out for that timeout, we are ahead by 3 points now. We can beat us, and then that means that they won this match, or that Cyclones can. What do you think, Nolan? What do you think that the outcome of this could be? Do you think that they could go into a 5th set, or do you think Wildcats are going to win this?
I couldn't really say now. It just all depends. We just saw it's 19-16 at the moment. Cyclones are 6 points away from winning this set. It could go very much so go into 5th set. It could very much go to the Wildcats. We just won't know until it actually happens. Medigatti with the serve to Wells. to Snyder. Shriver with the great block. And that'll be a penalty on the Wildcats for the Cyclones point.
Now, Nolan, what are penalties in volleyball? Like, what are the penalties that you can get?
Well, there's one where you reach your hand over the net, and you can't, like, normally you can't touch the net, period. Like, on the top of it, you can't touch that, period. And you can't double hit. But a couple others is you can't step your foot over underneath the net over the line, because that could affect the other team and it causes it a penalty. And yeah, there's a couple others that I really don't know in depth too well, but I can see when it happens. But yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
Here's Sloop. Snyder. Over to Hafey, to number 6, to Manchango, to Shriver. Manchango to Sherman. Back to Manchango. Manchango! First time I've seen her spike for the day. That'll be a timeout by the Wildcats. So to answer your question that you had before, I do think this is going into the 5th set.
I personally think that is going to go into the 5th set, too. Everybody's all quiet all of a sudden.
I don't know.
How come?
Got like overly quiet, and it got really weird.
That was like an awkward moment.
Someone saw some secrets down below us, apparently.
Like, what are the secrets that the coaches are saying to their players?
Here's Sloop, back in the line. Manigotti, to Manchango, to Sherman, to Snyder, saving it, to Wells, barely making it over, very impressive. Here's Shriver, trying to take it away, and the Wildcats, after all that effort, will take the point.
That was intense.
They absolutely did deserve that point. But here's Thompson and Mueller checking in. Mueller. No. Sloop. To Manchango. Over to Shriver. Thompson with the dig. Great block by Shriver. Wells. Over to Manchango. Over to Sherman. Thompson. Manigotti. To Manchango. Over to Shriver. Thompson. Back to Hafey, to Thompson, Manigotti, over to Manchango, Sherman to absolutely just drill it into Snyder. She didn't know how to react to that. And Sloop getting a little excited there, and Hannenberg will actually be checking in. They've got majority of their tall girls out there. Sherman, Snyder, Hafey, and now deep into the stands, and this will be set point. Sherman, Snyder, Hafey, Sherman, Manchango, Hafey to Snyder, over to Sloop, Manchango to Hannenberg, Wells to Thompson, over to Snyder, Manchango to Sloop, over to Shriver, Snyder, and that will be Wildcats point.
Take care. Number 9, Dana Thompson.
We've seen a lot of number 9 playing throughout the game, Dana Thompson. What do you think? How do you think that she is purposely kept in throughout the whole game? Do you think she ever gets tired? She seems very energetic.
Well, first off, she's really tall for being a player, so that's kind of helpful, especially on the line, trying to block. We get Manigotti, Sherman, Shriver, Hannenberg, all the spikers that they have out there. It does take a lot, but here's our freshman back out there for, I believe, the 4th time. Embry. Schloop to Manchengo. Over to Emery. Emery hitting it out of bounds.
Cyclones.
That would be a timeout. Here's Carver.
And right before that timeout ended, you could hear the Cyclones saying that we believe that we will win this match. And I believe this too. I mean, we came back with a comeback. So I believe that we might set and match if we go into this 5th set.
Here's Manchengo over to Emery. Hafey to Thompson. Number 6 to Manchengo and Schloop. And Emery saving that point. Hafey over to Thompson. And that will be a point for the Wildcats. It's coming down here to the end. Score being 24-22. Wildcats making a run to make a comeback to try and take this 4th set away from the Cyclones. Here's Carver. Menegatti to Manchengo. Back over to Menegatti. And that will be set to the Cyclones. And going into the 5th set.
So the scoreboard goes back, and we're going to start off this 5th set. The first 5th set that we've had all season. Granted, we've only played 2 games, but...
Here at home.
Here at home, but this is our first 5th set that we'll play.
All right, and we will take a little break, and we'll be back with you in a second. And we are back, of course, me being Nolan Simmons. And we'll have Mariah Otterby at serve. Otterby. And that was stand down right there at the end.
And point of the set.
Here's Otterby. Hafey to Snyder, Manicotti, and Hannenberg blocking. Here's Otterby. Otterby with the miss serve. Here's Hafey with the serve. Number 6, Sebastiango to Hannenberg, to Snyder, to Hafey, to Thompson. Here's Hafey again.
Now Hafey has throughout the game, and she's really good. I think she knows how to keep up her momentum. And
Great dig by Manchengo there. Sorry, Michaela.
It's okay, Nolan. I was finished.
You were rambling at that point.
Yes, absolutely, I was.
Hafey to Otterby, over to Manchengo, over to Manicotti, to Hafey, to Thompson, back to Otterby, Snyder, to Hafey, over to Manicotti with the spike, Manicotti to Manchengo trying to spike it over, doesn't quite get it. And the Wildcats bench is absolutely insane. It's kind of entertaining and makes me laugh to watch them.
They definitely know how to celebrate a play.
Here's Hafey. Hafey to Otterby to Manchengo. Number 6 getting it over. Hafey to Thompson. Great block by Hannenberg and Manchengo. And there was a call on the Cyclones, and the Cyclones didn't get the point. Hafey. Manchengo to Manicotti. Manicotti hitting it out of bounds. And to be 100% honest, I thought the Cyclones would have come out and tried to take this. And the Wildcats are absolutely just going insane over here, and it's kind of entertaining to keep watching them and just to see how excited they get every single time they get a single point.
I think at the beginning of this match, at the beginning of the set, Cyclones came in at full force, and I don't think that Wildcats were expecting that, and I think they're coming back trying to be harder than what they were planning on being.
Hafey. Number 6, to Manchengo to Manicotti. Wells to Snyder to Thompson. Otterby. Hannenberg to Snyder. And Manchengo and Hannenberg smacking that down.
I think that timeout from Coach King was definitely what the Cyclones needed at this point.
Here's Manchengo. Number 6. It's not Hannenberg, excuse me. Number 7 of the Wildcats. It's Thompson with her unique serve. Oh! Otterby Onaby taking the ball to the throat. Shriver had to check in for Onaby. Here's Thompson. Number 6, Manchego to Sloop. Hafey to Snyder. Shriver. Manchego to Sloop. Hafey to Snyder. To Shriver with a great dig. Sloop. Manchego hitting it over. Thompson with a great dig. Hafey to Snyder. Great block by Hannenberg and Sloop. And Onaby actually getting a chance to sit down and take a breather after getting hit in the neck with one of the, I believe, Thompson spike. Wells to Snyder. Menegatti to Manchego. Hitting it over, and that will be a point to the Wildcats. There's Wells. Menegatti. Manchego. Menegatti. Snyder. Over to Menegatti. Menegatti with the serve. And Reagan Emery, our freshman here at Pueblo West High School, will be checking in. Pueblo West Cyclones. Great play by Wildcats to keep that alive. Here's Sherman. Sherman just comes in and says, that's not happening anymore. I'm taking it away.
Do you think that Cyclones, throughout the game, that they figured it out? Do you think that they're going to come back and win this 5th set?
I don't know. I don't know if they can come back with the 5th set. It's up in the air at this point. The set kind of just started. We haven't even gotten to double digits yet, so I can't really answer your question right now, to be 100% honest. But yeah, I'm hoping so. Not to be biased or anything. I'm hoping it's happening. Here's Menegatti. To Wells. Hafey. Snyder couldn't quite get it over. Here's Menegatti. Hansen will be checking in for the Wildcats. Haven't really seen too much of her. Here's Menegatti. Snyder to Hafey. Back to Snyder. Manchego to Sloop. Over to Emery. Emery hitting it way too hard. And Mueller will be checking in for Hansen. Mueller to number 6. It's Manchego to set up Sherman. Snyder, Sloop with a great dig. Manchego to Menegatti in the back. Doesn't quite hit it over. Shriver will be checking in for Emery.
And Mueller.
Sloop to Manchego to Sherman. Sherman taking it away. Here's Sloop with the serve. Sloop. Wells. Hafey to Carver. Sloop to Manchego. Over to Shriver. Shriver can't, just barely lift it over. Here's Snyder. Thompson will be checking in.
Number 9, Dana Thompson. Back in the set for the Wildcats.
Here's Snyder. Menegatti. Over to Manchengo. Over to Sherman. Snyder to Hafey. Thompson to Menegatti. Manchengo to Shriver. Shriver takes it away.
Sander with the low kill.
Hannenberg will be checking in.
Back to serve.
Sherman with the serve. And they have all of their tall girls out there, minus Emery. Mueller. Carver. There's Menegatti. Manchengo. Manchengo gets it over.
Center top, Manchengo.
Here's Sherman. Sherman to Hafey. Sherman to Manchengo to Hannenberg taking it away. Here's Sherman. Mueller to Hafey to Thompson. Hannenberg over to Shriver. Shriver doesn't get it over.
Now, Nolan, I have a quick question for you while they're switching out. And do you think that Mariah Oddby is going to be able to come back in after getting hit in the neck?
For the Wildcats.
I think they'll let her come back in. She looks fine now. I mean, I think just the hit surprised her and she wasn't expecting it. And Manchengo, Hannenberg, over to Snyder. That is point for Wildcats. Emery will be checking in for Shriver.
Match point.
Carver. Over to 6. Over to back to number 6. Hafey to Thompson. Emery. Menegatti. Points to Cyclones.
Oliver back to serve for the Cyclones.
And Oddby coming back in after actually getting hit in the neck with one of Thompson's spikes, and we've all seen how powerful she can be. Snyder to Hafey. Oddby. Sloop. Manchengo. Hafey to Thompson. Sloop. And that will actually be it because fifth set only goes to 15. And that will be Wildcats win. But, of course, I'm Nolan Simmons here with
Michaela Thomas.
and thank you for joining our second PWHS High School volleyball game.